Have you ever felt sad, low, or just not quite yourself, but couldn't figure out why? You're not alone. As we age, many seniors experience unexplained sadness, even when everything seems fine on the surface. In this heartfelt and eye-opening video, we explore 7 surprising reasons why seniors feel sad, and more importantly, how to gently and naturally lift your mood without medication. These are simple yet powerful mindset shifts and habits that can bring more joy, peace, and connection into your daily life. Whether you're 60, 70, or 80 plus, this video is for you. It's never too late to feel good again. If you're ready to reclaim emotional well-being and find meaning and happiness in your golden years, this video will guide you step by step, with compassion, clarity, and practical tools. Share your thoughts in the comments. What resonated with you the most? Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share with someone who might need to hear this today. Subscribe for more uplifting content for seniors and retirees. Have you ever woken up in the morning, looked out the window, and just felt empty? Not sad for any particular reason. Not angry. Not even tired, really. Just dull inside. Like something's missing, even if everything seems fine on the outside? If that sounds familiar, I want you to know, you're not alone. And more importantly, you're not broken. A lot of people over 60 feel this quiet sadness creeping in, and they often can't explain why. But here's the good news. There's nothing wrong with you, and you don't need to rely on medication to feel like yourself again. Today, I want to gently walk with you through some of the unexpected reasons you might be feeling low, and even better, I'll share real, simple ways to lift your spirit and reconnect with joy. Nothing complicated. No pills. Just small, meaningful changes that can make a big difference. So let's take a deep breath together, and start with something many people don't even realize affects their mood. The loss of routine. You see, during our working years, our days are filled with structure. Wake up, shower, go to work, come home, cook, sleep, repeat. But after retirement, that structure slowly disappears. You no longer have to be anywhere at a certain time, which at first feels like freedom. But over time, it can leave you feeling lost. Without a rhythm to the day, our brain drifts. We sleep in later. Meals become irregular. Days blur into one another. And suddenly, that lack of purpose starts weighing us down like fog. The fix? It's beautifully simple. Create a gentle daily rhythm again. It doesn't have to be strict like a job. Just intentional. Wake up at the same time each day, even on weekends. Have a small morning ritual, maybe coffee on the porch or stretching to soft music. Schedule something to look forward to every day. Even just watering your plants at 9 a.m. can anchor you. Our minds thrive on gentle patterns. Rebuilding a loose routine helps ground us, and your mood will begin to feel more stable and calm. Now, let's talk about another hidden trigger of sadness: not feeling truly seen or heard. We live in a noisy world. Social media, TV, phones ringing, yet so many seniors say they feel invisible. You might be surrounded by people and still feel alone, especially if those interactions are surface level, polite but not deep. The truth is, after a certain age, people often stop asking how you really feel. They assume you're just fine. But being unheard chips away at the soul over time. We all need connection, not just company. So how do we fix that without waiting on someone else to change? Here's a powerful idea. Start telling your stories again. Yes, your stories. The real ones. The funny ones, the sad ones, the life-changing ones. You have decades of wisdom, mistakes, love, grief, joy, and resilience inside of you, and people need to hear it. You might be surprised how many are just waiting for you to open up. Maybe your grandchild. Maybe a neighbor. Maybe a friend who's also quietly lonely. If face-to-face isn't possible, try writing them down. Keep a journal. Or call someone and just say, "I've been thinking about something that happened to me in 1972. Watch how people respond. When you share, you spark connection. You remind yourself, and others, that you still matter. That your voice deserves to be heard. Another reason that often slips under the radar is simply a lack of physical touch. Now, I know this can sound silly at first, but stay with me. Human beings are wired for touch. A hug, a pat on the back, holding hands. These small moments release oxytocin, the feel-good hormone. It calms our nervous system, lowers blood pressure, and yes, lifts sadness. But as we get older, those moments become rarer. Maybe your spouse passed. Maybe your children moved away. Maybe people just assume you don't want physical affection anymore. But you do. And it's okay to need it. You can gently bring more touch into your life without it being awkward or forced. Consider getting a massage, even a short one focused on the hands or shoulders. If you have pets, spend time cuddling them. If you don't, maybe visit a local shelter. Even just sitting next to a friend on the couch and holding their hand during a movie can light something up inside you. Touch is nourishment. It's not just physical, it's emotional too. And finally, one of the sneakiest causes of low mood is lack of natural light. Sounds simple, doesn't it? But think about it. How many hours a day are you actually exposed to sunlight? Especially during the colder months, many people over 60 stay indoors more often. Closed curtains, dark rooms, long evenings, your body starts to lose track of its natural rhythms. And that affects your brain's production of serotonin, the very thing that keeps your mood steady. Try this. Open your blinds as soon as you wake up. Sit near a window when you drink your tea or coffee. Better yet, step outside, even just for 10 minutes. Breathe deeply. Let your skin feel the warmth, even on a cloudy day. That gentle light helps reset your internal clock and tells your body, hey, it's a new day. You might be amazed how something so small can make you feel more awake, more hopeful, more alive. Let's pause here for a moment. We've already looked at how losing your daily rhythm, feeling unseen, missing human touch, and lacking natural light can subtly affect your mood. And more importantly, how simple it can be to begin turning things around without a single pill. Because the truth is, your sadness is not a flaw. It's a message. A gentle whisper from your body and soul asking for connection, rhythm, warmth, light, and love. And you deserve all of those things. Today, tomorrow, and every day to come. Now let's keep going, because understanding these hidden causes of sadness can truly change the way you feel from the inside out. We've already talked about the power of rhythm, being heard, touch, and light, but there's another one that sneaks into the heart quietly. It's something few people admit out loud, but it's so common after 60. The grief of losing purpose. It might sound dramatic, but think about it. For most of your life, you had clear responsibilities. A job to do, children to raise, a home to maintain. Even errands and appointments gave you a sense of being needed. But as we age, many of those roles begin to fade. You may be retired, the kids are grown, the house runs itself, and suddenly you're left wondering, what am I supposed to do now? Who needs me anymore? That question alone can be enough to bring tears. Not because life is bad, but because it feels empty. Purpose isn't just about having a job. It's about having a reason to get up in the morning that makes your heart feel alive. And here's the beautiful truth. You can still have deep, meaningful purpose at any age. It just might look a little different now. Think about the people around you. Is there a neighbor who needs help walking their dog? A young person you could mentor? A friend who could use a weekly phone call? Purpose doesn't have to be huge. It's about impact, about knowing that your actions still matter to someone else. Maybe you've always wanted to paint, or write poetry, or learn something new. Now is the time. Giving yourself permission to create, to share, to contribute, that's how purpose is reborn. And it doesn't have to be perfect. One woman I know started sewing blankets for babies at a local shelter. Another man began reading stories to kids at the library. These small acts don't just fill time, they fill the heart. Now, let's talk about another surprisingly common reason for low mood: dehydration. Yes, something as basic as not drinking enough water can seriously mess with your mind and emotions. As we age, our sense of thirst gets duller. That means even if your body needs water, you might not feel thirsty, and before you know it, you're tired, foggy, irritable, or even anxious. And you're left wondering, why do I feel so off today? Here's a simple way to check. Think back. How much plain water did you drink yesterday? Not coffee, not tea, not juice, just water. If it's less than 5 or 6 glasses, your body might be running on empty. The solution? Start small. Keep a water bottle nearby and sip throughout the day. Add a slice of lemon or cucumber if you want a bit of flavor. Try drinking a full glass right after waking up. Your body goes all night without fluids, so it's a powerful way to start the day. Hydration isn't just about the body. It fuels your brain, your energy, and yes, even your happiness. But sometimes, sadness lingers even when the basics are covered. And that brings us to something deeper. Something invisible, but very real, unspoken emotional weight. This could be regrets from the past. Grief that was never fully processed. Relationships that never healed. Or even guilt, over things said or left unsaid. And while these emotions may have been buried for years, they don't disappear. They sit quietly in the heart, and over time, they become heavy. You might not think about them every day, but they still tug at your mood in subtle ways. Here's the healing part. You don't have to carry all of that weight alone. You really don't. Talking to someone, a trusted friend, a counselor, even journaling it out, can release so much of what's been trapped inside. You might think, oh, it's too late to talk about that now. But it's never too late to let your heart breathe. Sometimes, even just saying the words out loud can shift something. One man shared with me that he had carried guilt for 30 years over how he treated his brother. He finally spoke about it, cried for the first time in decades, and afterward he said, "I didn't know how heavy that sadness had become until it started to lift." You don't have to carry your sadness in silence. It's not a weakness to talk. It's courage. And it's one of the most healing things you can do. Now, before we go further, I want to pause and remind you, there is no shame in feeling down. None. It doesn't mean you're doing life wrong. It means your heart is asking for attention, for care, and for love. So many seniors grow up in generations that were taught to tough it out, to keep feelings private. But your emotions are part of your health, too. Tending to them is not self-indulgent. It's necessary. What you've lived through matters. What you still feel matters. And what you do from here on out, it matters too. Every small step you take, from adding sunlight to your morning, to drinking more water, to telling one true story from your past, adds life back into your day. It reminds your body, your brain, and your soul, I am still here. I am still alive. And I deserve to feel good again. Because you do. You really do. And now we come to one of the most overlooked causes of sadness, especially in later years. It's not something most doctors ask about. It doesn't show up in blood tests or physical exams. But it creeps in quietly, and before you know it, you're waking up each morning with a sense of flatness. A dullness that colors everything you do. This hidden culprit? Lack of novelty. You see, when we're younger, life is filled with firsts. First jobs, first love, first time traveling somewhere new. Our brains thrive on newness, and every unfamiliar experience lights up our minds like a switchboard. But as we get older, routine takes over. You might eat the same breakfast every day, walk the same path, watch the same shows, talk to the same people, and without realizing it, the world starts to feel smaller. Now, routine can be comforting. But too much of it? That's when boredom and low mood sneak in. Your brain needs fresh input, even in small doses, to feel awake and alive. The good news? You don't need to climb a mountain or travel across the world to feel something new. Novelty can be as simple as taking a different route on your daily walk, trying a new recipe you've never made before, listening to a piece of music from a genre you usually avoid. Even brushing your teeth with the opposite hand can wake up new parts of your brain. I once knew a woman in her 70s who decided to take up origami. Yes, folding paper. She'd never done anything like it before. And she told me, it's not about the paper. It's about proving to myself that I can still learn. I can still surprise myself. That's the spark of novelty, and that spark can light up a whole day. Now let's talk about one last reason, something that might sound a bit unexpected: the absence of silence. Yes, silence. In a world full of noise, TVs, phones, traffic, constant chatter, we've become so used to the hum of activity that actual silence can feel strange. But it's in silence that we truly hear ourselves. It's where clarity and calm come from. Without it, our minds stay cluttered, and our emotions get tangled in the noise. But here's the twist: many people avoid silence because they're afraid of what might come up in it. Memories, worries, regret. But silence isn't the enemy. It's the doorway. It gives you space to breathe, to reflect, to release. Even just sitting quietly with a cup of tea by the window for 10 minutes a day can create space inside you where peace can grow. You don't have to meditate. You don't have to clear your mind. Just be with yourself, gently, kindly, and let your heart speak without all the distractions. One man I spoke to told me he started taking 5-minute walks without any phone, music, or distractions. At first, it felt strange. But after a week, he said, it's like I've finally made friends with myself again. That's the power of silence. And here's something to remember, something I hope you carry with you even after this video ends. Sadness is not a flaw. It's a signal. A signal that something inside you needs attention, needs care, needs kindness. You don't need to push that sadness away. You don't need to pretend it's not there. But you can respond to it with small, loving actions, with curiosity instead of judgment, with the understanding that your emotional well-being deserves just as much care as your physical health. The habits we've talked about today, getting enough light, connecting through touch, expressing your voice, rediscovering purpose, staying hydrated, releasing emotional weight, bringing in novelty, and finding moments of silence. These are not magic pills. They're gentle nudges. They're quiet invitations to come back home to yourself. And you know what? You don't have to do them all at once. Just pick one. Try it for a few days. See how it feels. Let it grow naturally like a seed. The older we get, the more we realize that happiness doesn't come from grand achievements or wild adventures. It comes from peace, from connection, from feeling alive in your own skin. One woman in her 80s said something that stayed with me for years. She said, I thought getting older meant fading away. But it turns out it just means seeing life more clearly and learning to fall in love with the little things again. Isn't that beautiful? And maybe that's what this whole conversation is really about. Not just how to stop feeling sad, but how to start feeling again. How to notice the joy in a sunbeam, the comfort of a warm hand, the laughter in a phone call, the quiet in your own breath. You deserve to feel good again. You deserve to wake up with lightness in your heart. And no matter what you've been through, whether you're 60 or 90, it's never too late to find joy in the simple, sacred moments of your life. If this message has touched you, I invite you to share your thoughts in the comments. What part of this resonated with you? What small change are you ready to try? Your story might help someone else feel a little less alone. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. We're building a space here where healing, growth, and community are always welcome, especially for those of us in the later chapters of life. Here's to living your best life, one honest, heart-filled moment at a time. You are not alone, and you are never too old to begin again.